Hello to my Spiritborn guide. Today I present my Shattered Vow Rushing Claw build. I recently built it, and at the start we see some Pit 100 gameplay. Yeah, so let's begin.
Not ready. Not ready. Need more time. Need more time. Need more time. Not ready yet. Need more time. Need more time. Not ready yet. Need more time. Not ready yet. 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 Need more time. Not ready yet. Need more time.
Not much.
Need more time. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. Need more time. Need more time. Not ready yet. Not ready yet.
So you see, took us nearly 5 minutes with the shitty layout. Sadly, the second part wasn't too good. I took hundreds even in 3 minutes, so it's definitely doable, but this was a little shitty. But just for a little overview, yeah. So let's dive into the build itself. And yeah, here we have the gear set up at first, and we start with the important ones. How this build works, why it does like such much damage, and that's surprisingly Shattered Foe, because the core mechanic is, or the core of the build is, we stack toxic skin as high as possible. So here you can see that's the maximum, it's 40 ranks on toxic skin. That's tremendously high. And the dot is stacking like crazy on this. So it's the first time Shattered Foe makes sense, because you get the damage over time duration. Damage over time duration increases heavily the ticks you get from toxic skin. And if you're increasing the tick time, you increase the maximum damage a lot. And you need this for Noxious Resonance, because you trigger the whole lot of the pool, of the damage over time pool, and do 300% damage on it. So the pool has to be high, and Shattered Foe increases the pool like crazy. The rest on this item is like shit. Damage over time is nice to have. Maximum life is nice to have. That's the only thing that matters. You become berserking, that's okay, because you get a damage buff on it too. The attack speed doesn't matter at all. So that's the core. You stack toxic skin with Shattered Foe. You multiplicate it like crazy, and then crit it on the mobs. So that's the core. Like, how do we achieve this? We need a Harlequin's Crest, because we do this with Rushing Claw. And Rushing Claw has a lot of cooldown, and we want to have all other stuff always active too. So we need Harlequin's Crest. You don't need a star on it. It hasn't to be a greater affix. It's okay if you have another star on everything instead of maximum resource. Maximum resources isn't needed. So of course it's the best in slot setup, so don't mind the stats. It's not the gear I presented here. Yeah. So in total you have the Harlequin's Crest for the reduction, 4+4 to ranks. It's important that to note that all 5 upgrades from Toxic Skin are much more valuable than the other ones. So reaching 40 is really good here. So it's another little plus on this item. Damage reductions is very important here, because like you saw on the video, we are always on 1% of our life. We just have barrier. We have no life, just barrier. Yeah. So, and that's with your Sin Shell. Your Sin Shell gives us all the armor we need for unyielding aspect. I think everyone who played Spiritborn knows unyielding is the most important aspect. So that's the gorilla aspect. If you're casting gorilla skill, you increase your armor. So you increase your weapon damage from your armor, and you need 5,000 armor cap. And with your Sin Shell, you easily get this. On top, you get a 60% damage reduction, important to survive. you can change the tempering here if you want to, depending on what your Thin Child you have. If you get your 5,000 armor with other things, this depends. Tempering depends. That's best in slot. Best in slot, you have all 3 temperings on damage reduction, but you can't temper otherwise too if you need it. The effect is important in the sense of we don't heal, but we don't heal with the effect. But we get a cooldown reduction from other heal sources, and the most important is you are always drained to nearly 0 health points, and that's important because of the combination with Beast Cornered. So you have the maximum increased damage from Beast Cornered. Yeah, and that's the combination of you getting your unwielding hit capped, you get cooldown reduction, you get a tremendous amount of damage reduction, and you get a tremendous amount of damage here. That's 80% in total, 80% multiplied damage. It's better than taking a Shroud of False Death in this sense. So yeah, let's go on. It's Harmony of Aberwalker. The next best is to all stats. The next best with damage reduction. Movement speed isn't too bad too because we take Brilliance, so it's a multiplier. Yeah, that's easy explained. Toxic Skin is Centipede, Gorilla, and Eagle, so it's like 130% more damage. Kesungi, it's to boost our Toxic Skin skill ranks. That's the most important one. You need this with skill ranks on Gorilla skills. That's the most important. Vulnerable is okayish. Ultimate cooldown reduction is nice to have. If you get your protector nearly to 6 seconds, it's really, really nice. So you can always have him up. 6 seconds would be perfect. But you have some cooldown reduction on this, but mostly it's hits for your Rushing Claw. So yeah. And you have to pull in. The pull in is really nice, like you see, because you have to pull everything together. So you don't have to use the vortex. You used your ultimate skill to pull the enemies in, mostly affected on the elite packs. And yeah, the next one is a normal boots, and you get dex. All resistance is needed, and the most important, like everything else, it's +8 to Toxic Skins, of course. You need Rushing Claws tempered on it. And you want to have Scourge size because you afflict more damage. And your Scourge is always active. So it's always the aura, you have always the boosts. It does some good amount of damage for your dot pool too. So it's really nice and not too overseen. Evade grants 125% movement speed for 1 second. We take Brilliance here in this build, so your movement speed isn't capped from nature, but you can always evade because we have the always evade set up into it. So it's really nice. You have to evade all 3 seconds with this for optimal damage. And if you evade, you're capped. So your Brilliance stacks more damage. So this isn't damage. If you get movement speed for 1 second, it's damage. Because it's like 150, so it's missing 50% movement speed on the base. And you get this from using evade. Yeah, Shattered Vow, like explained earlier. The glyphs. We have Yule Quacks here for more damage periodically, 100% damage boost, and we have the Freezing Nova here for applying a good amount of vulnerable on every enemy, and another survival build with the freeze. you can use the barrier 1-2 decay in early stages, but yeah, it's an endgame build, so it's not meant to be builded to level up or something. I mean, you can change Shattered Foe to an item with overpower damage, damage over time, FX. But yeah, it's not that good without a Harlequin's Crest, so it's definitely endgame. And just to have fun and use your Shattered Foe if you find something good. The amulet, nothing too special. The most affixes on the multiplier. Dexterity, of course. Rushing Claws and Armored Hide, because you don't get Armored Hide too low to always active if you don't have a star here on it. It's always like 2 seconds off. Here the optimal setup, it's okayish. Maybe you can skip this, but on my setup I always set Armored Hide active duration, because you always need the blockable stuff. Yeah. So the next we have Wound Drinker. That's for the toxic skin, and of course you need the 40, so toxic skin is the most important here on the item. Damage to poison is nice, damage reduction is nice. Yeah, the effect is not important. Thorns is not important. And the next one is Normal Ring, just for the unyielding hits. Protector cooldown to get your ultimate down, and just a normal setup from all your important stats. Yeah. On the amulet I have the one with the barrier, but I do switch it sometimes because I feel the fear from Scourge is very unnerving, and I do use the aspect where you slow all enemies and do more damage to slowed enemies over the next 3 seconds. That's really nice especially if you're going the lower ones. If you're pushing, I recommend barrier, but if you're speeding, I recommend slow all enemies, so the fear don't get them too far away, and you do the same amount of damage like the barrier 1-2, but it's not only for 3 seconds, so the barrier is for pushing better. So, and then we have the skill tree. Not too far. The Chaos perks. Yeah, it's Beast Cornered, Barret Guard for your defensive. That's one of the main damage sources. Then Electricity is only for perma evade. And Back Off, I'm currently testing if it works with Toxic Skin. I'm not sure about this, but this slot here is not important at all. On the other side, you can get Alleration Chaos. You have a lucky hit to further decrease your cooldowns. I recommend this because I don't know if Back Off works right here. It feels like it, but I can't prove it now. So yeah, let's begin with the skill tree. It's Thunder Spike here for perma evade. We don't need anything in these upper corners. Here we have one in focal points, more damage, less damage from enemies, cooldown reduction because mobility, Rushing Claws and mobility skill. Mirage is just for unlocking, and here we have the under hindrance and unstoppable, more damage. Our core mechanic, we get Toxic Skin, enhanced Toxic Skin for more poison, and because everything is vulnerable to the aura, our critical strikes do spread more poison. Yeah, okay. Then we have Armored Hide, just with more block reduction for the. You have 100% uptime, so you have 100% block, and if you cast this, you have more block reduction. That's very nice. Barrier, really important to stay alive. Here we have 2 points in Surge because we have 1 left. That's nothing too important. Important is this here, that you heal a little bit. You have the cooldown reductions from your Synth Shell. Yeah, so that's not that important. That's here's a damage one. Here's more life, so more barrier, because everything is gorilla. Everything is eagle. That's I explained before. You have to wait all 3 seconds to unlock this. Could wait more, but brilliance is not that important as a multiplier, because you wait all 3 seconds. For 1 to 0.5 seconds you have the multiplier on your boots if you have the correct boots, but the other 1.5 seconds you don't have it. So brilliance, you don't need it on the amulet. It's just not as efficient as the others, like oppressive, ravenous, acceleration. Potent is up 2 because rushing claw is a Jagger skill. You don't need furnace because we don't crit. Dots don't crit, dots don't overpower, and our damage comes from the dot. Yeah, then we have the protector. We have the classic 3-1-3 here for more damage, and we have Noxus resonance. Yeah, okay. And yeah, then we have the board here. I started with Fester. Fester, more centipede damage, more centipede damage to crowd control. Everything is crowd control the whole time. Instead of bosses. Like bosses, you do a little bit less damage. Yeah, more. Second board, we have zapping with Kenny. More poison damage. And poison is non-physical, so it's nice. Here we have bitter medicine. Here's important, you heal too. You heal from the Scourge aura, so that's another important point, that you always have the Scourge online on your character. You have to heal a little bit, because you do a fair amount of poison damage here and increase your poison damage. So the Scourge aura should be always active. Then we have Managerist. We have all 4 stackable stuff. We do Gorilla, we do Jagger, we do Eagle, and we do Centipede skills. We do every 4, so we have the maximum amount of the second stat. And incarnate damage, the toxic skin is actually an incarnate, so we do more damage. Then we have Bane. Bane is for more poison damage, straightforward. Convergence for this, that's wrong. The current bonus is way higher in-game, but here it's called 30%, but it's not the case. It's the maximum amount in-game. In the planner, it's not correct calculated. And then we have Drive, because we move all the time. And we use Colossal here for the Gorilla. And like we do our resolve stacks, refreshing all the time. We do have the secondary too, and your enemies are all the time close because we rushed through them. Yeah, so that's the Paragon board. The Spirit Halls I didn't explain. We do use Gorilla as main because we need the barrier. And second one we use Eagle because we get more wool damage. Wool damage is scaled with dot damage, so that's nice. And we have every other cast is guaranteed critical hit, and we need critical hits for Noxious Resonance. So Rushing Claw always crits and applies vulnerable damage bonus. So that's really nice. We dot, we crit, we dot, we crit, we dot, we crit. And yeah, that's in fact is it. Mercenary, like you need more armor with here, or more resistances with Elder Keen. Like take whatever you want. I like Subo a lot because then I see where I rush claw through the map more better. It's like navigation system. Yeah. And that's the build. I managed to get to 110 with it, and 100 rifts with a good layout, like 3 or 3.5 minutes, and 5 minutes if it's bad. Yeah, I think it's a valid endgame build, and I do like that I can use Shattered Vow one time. It's really, really cool.